Well, salutations, fellow vidiots. Welcome back to yet another episode of that full moon madness, baby. Fucking with some sipping whiskey. Unfortunately, fucking with some Mickeys. Still out of the old Germans down at the market. They're reconfiguring because they're putting in a beer cave, which is actually a very good thing for me. But it's just, you know, they haven't been stocking a lot of their beer because they haven't had the coolers operational until recently. I will say, as disappointed as I am to get this Mickey's, it's ice fucking cold. Those new coolers that they got are just tits. Looking forward to when that beer cave is fully assembled, taking a little trip through there. Maybe I'll take you guys with me. So in any case, today we have for you guys our swoops from the Valentine sale on fullmoondirect.com, where you can buy movies, merch, and much, much more. Got a good stack of stuff here, modest stack of standalone snags, and the rest of it is all like franchise or series based. You guys will see what I'm talking about as we work through it. Not quite as extensive as our previous haul, but powerful nonetheless. So without wasting any more time, let's jump into it. We're going to do those standalone snags first, then we're just going to start banging out those series one by one. We are going to have about 2 times the amount of featured trailers this time around, so you guys got that to look forward to. And I think this is going to be a good time. So basically how the sale worked is it ran for about a week. It was 50% discount on most items. I think select items were even more discounted, like upwards of 60 or 70%. But even at a 50% discount, as you guys know from our last fucking pickup segment, their standard price for a DVD is $7.95. So at 50% off, they were under $4 a piece, under $5 a piece, I believe, for the digitally remastered ones. And I got a decent amount of, you know, single grips that I desperately needed because I wanted to review them sooner rather than later. I double dipped on a franchise, and I got some stuff that I probably would have procrastinated on and not gotten until much further down the road were it not for these sales. And as far as any advice going into any sort of flash sale or anything like this on a website, I would always recommend getting that kind of stuff. The stuff that you kind of want but you don't really want to pay full price for, that you might wait on until it's out of print otherwise if the sales weren't an option. Just snag those bastards up so you got them out of the way and you can get the sort of better stuff that you're looking forward to more at full price or during subsequent sales. I don't mind paying full price for a movie that I really, really, really want, but if it's something I'm just kind of curious about or something I want for the sake of completionism, I tend to procrastinate, keep pushing it down the priority list till it eventually becomes a problem. I've since broken myself of that habit, and this haul is a good example of that. In any case, though, we got our standalone snags to kick this bitch off. First up, we got Seed People. You guys should recognize this. I did a review for it to close out our first wave of reviews. Definitely check that out. I'll pretty much let that speak for itself. Anything else you need to know, you pretty much get from the cover here. Looks like a lot of fun, huh? Because it is. Now this one, unlike Seed People, where I was just kind of familiar with it, and I thought maybe I hadn't rented it, but it turned out that I had actually seen it. There was no question where this motherfucker was involved. This is right there with like Oblivion and Shrunken Heads as far as like rental classics that I just pounded the shit out of the tapes at my local fucking video store because I just couldn't get enough of it. And that's H.P. Lovecraft's Lurking Fear. This is not one a lot of people consider a good movie, because it isn't one. But it's a fun movie, and it's got a solid cast of people in there that seemed like they couldn't really care less that they were in this movie. But that kind of lends to the overall like PS1 era survival horror video game vibe that Lurking Fear has. I honestly think if a lot of the haters of this movie watched it with that lens on, think of it like a spin-off game of Resident Evil that was never made into a game, but they just made it with that exact vibe into a live-action movie. Basically, there's these Morlock-looking motherfuckers that live under this graveyard, and they eat the corpses from underneath, and occasionally will eat, you know, people if they get a chance to. That's all I'm going to tell you about it now. You got Jeffrey Combs up in there, Ashley Lauren, or Loren, however you say that. I think that's her name. The chick from fucking Hellraiser is up in there basically playing the Jill Valentine character of the movie. You just can't go wrong with this in terms of like beer and popcorn shit. If you're looking at it because of the fact that it's got the chick from Hellraiser and Jeffrey Combs in it and several other like genre, you know, regulars, thinking that it's going to be as good as like Reanimator or anything like that. No, it probably doesn't even deserve to have H.P. Lovecraft's name on it. But it's fun nonetheless, and I highly recommend it, especially if you can get it for less than $4. Now this is a curiosity snag here, and that's The Occultist. This is from 1989. Most of the names on the back, I believe, are Italian. So I'm thinking what's going on with this is it's maybe not a movie Full Moon actually made. I think they padded out their sort of, you know, launch lineup, since that was the year they launched with Puppet Master direct-to-video. I think they tried to, like, pad it out by grabbing up a movie or two like this, I would suspect. But if they did make it, you know, that'll be an interesting discovery. Either way, for less than $4, that lady's fucking helmet hair, 80s bimbo fucking mullet, that sweet supernatural mace, and that zoot suit fucking gangster dude, I couldn't leave it behind. Now this is one of those absolute Full Moon classics that regrettably I'm not familiar with. You know, I'm familiar with it in that I've seen it around a ton. The fucking cover art is iconic, and it shows up on a lot of people's top 10 Full Moon lists. But I've never actually seen it myself, though I believe I did see the Video Zone for it, and I've obviously seen the poster around a bunch, like I said. But that's Bad Channels. This came out in, I think, 92. It's directed by Ted Nicolau. It was kind of like his thing that, you know, established him enough for them to probably trust him with doing a whole franchise like Subspecies. I think it was kind of happening simultaneously with that. But this really showed that he could, like, do other stuff too, so he was just off to the races after that. And, you know, it's got music by Blue Oyster Cult there, which I suspect is what's holding it back from a Blu-ray release, maybe. I think they did some songs for it, and they also, like, composed music for it, I think. And it's got performances by a couple other bands in there as well. It's just a musical fucking science fiction sort of horror affair, I guess. And I'm very much looking forward to checking out the movie and reviewing it for you fine folks. Apparently it crosses over with Dollman vs. Demonic Toys, and I have seen that in the past, so it'll be interesting to finally see Bad Channels and sort of understand the origin of at least one of those characters from that movie. Next up, we got another Jeffrey Combs joint here. That's Dr. Mordred, Master of the Unknown. This is fucking Doctor Strange in the 90s. It's exactly what it is. There's no other explanation really needed. Full Moon wanted to do a Doctor Strange movie, and Marvel told them, like, what the fuck, are you crazy? No, we're not letting you guys do it. You can't have the rights. So they just did it anyways and called it something different but similar. Very much looking forward to checking this out. I think I have seen it a couple of times, like, fucked up. So a sober watch is definitely required, but it's a highly regarded Full Moon classic, if for anything but the camp value and the fact that the idea was so ahead of its time. Because Doctor Strange, right? Like, there's people that tried other superhero movies before that, but nobody was trying to fuck with Doctor Strange. People were barely trying to fuck with Doctor Strange when they made the actual movies that he's known for now. I mean, I've always liked the character, but your average person on the street couldn't have give a fuck. Obviously, that's much different now, but who knows? You know, if this had taken off, people might think of Jeffrey Combs as fucking Doctor Strange and not Bender Snatch fucking Crumblebum or whatever the fuck his name is. And then finally, for our standalone snags, we got another highly regarded Full Moon classic, and that is Meridian. This is one of those ones that rode that line between their horror movies and shit and, like, their erotic stuff, I guess. I've never actually seen it, but it's got Sherilyn Fenn in there. You can never go wrong with that lady. Just, And I guess there's a bunch of werewolf sex or something like that. So, looking forward to checking that out. Because why not, you know? Jokes aside, though, it sounds like it's kind of a twisted take on the Beauty and the Beast tale, which is already kind of a twisted tale to begin with. Very much looking forward to checking it out. I think this was the only digitally remastered edition I got of anything in this stack, other than... No, yeah, this is the only digitally remastered. Probably should have took advantage of that on a few more of the unfamiliar titles they've remastered, just to have them out of the way. But, you know, I'm sure there will be other sales this year. I know they do, like, a Christmas sale, and I'd imagine they have, like, a Halloween sale. So there will be other opportunities to get that shit. I just hope they put more stuff in print so that we can actually get copies of some of those, like, outlying Full Moon gems. In any case, right now, you sexy motherfuckers are gonna watch the trailer for, fuck it, we'll do Meridian. Then we're gonna come back, and we're gonna bang out a couple of major franchises and some smaller series dank. Hopefully you guys are enjoying this so far.
I see things, and I feel things that I can't explain.
Seduced by a dream.
This feeling is so powerful.
What we did was unforgivable.
I think something terrible may have happened.
Possessed by a dark power.
I need you to love me.
Sometimes he's so evil.
Do you understand what you see?
I'm frightened.
She will awaken a curse of passion.
I will become a creature.
It's a superstition, a ghost story.
To break this curse, the creature must be killed by the lady of the castle.
I love him.
Now she must destroy something that isn't real
Kill this beast.
No.
to save a love that isn't human. Meridian, starring Sherilyn Fenn from Two Moon Junction.
It's just a dream.